Hello Gothamites, my name is Discourse Miniatures and welcome to the first part of a new video series of crew overviews for the Batman Miniatures game 3rd edition. Today, in what I hope is the first of many, I will be talking about the Joker crew, which is a faction near and dear to my heart. In this video, I'm going to give a broad overview of the strengths and weaknesses of the Joker crew. In future videos, I will examine specific miniatures and discuss the objective cards that make up Joker deck. I should note that I won't be talking about free agents that are available to the Joker as part of this series. Instead, they will be a part of their own video series at a later stage. So first, we're going to look at the strengths of the Joker crew. First of all, the Joker is an extremely unpredictable opponent with a lot of flexibility. His capacity to assign available audacity markers to any henchman through his Chaos Agent trait means that his opponents must always be wary of even the lowliest of goons. This makes him very difficult to predict, and because this only affects henchmen, his crew is therefore very henchman heavy. This is a strength, or a weakness, depending on your perspective, but Joker's playstyle does encourage building larger gangs filled with expendable henchmen, which is thematic at the least. His deck is very disruptive. A number of his objective cards require the discarding of cards as a precursor to scoring. This can completely derail your opponent's plans and make them lose vital linchpins of their deck. His gang likes to get up close and personal with his opponents, and he truly does not mind losing models to violence. Indeed, he is actively rewarded for doing so. His playstyle is utterly aggressive, and most of his cards encourage him to get within punching distance of his opponent. He has access to a lot of AoEs in his deck, which need to cause damage in order to score. Again, this encourages building a larger gang, because they score whether you enter enemy models or your own. His cards are, generally speaking, easy to score. They're not too tricky, and they often come with zero cost resources attached, so you can easily cycle through your deck to find the cards you need. And, like all of the crews, he has his weaknesses. A portion of his deck focuses on taking advantage of the application of poisons and effects. This can constrain the models he can bring to bear depending on how he constructs his deck. If he hasn't taken the Ace of Spades model, for example, he may want to leave some of these cards at home. Again, he is extremely disruptive, but those discard effects I mentioned earlier also affect him. This means that he will be losing cards from his hand. This is just an integral part of the Joker. If you want to play the Joker, you will need to learn how to manage this randomness. Luckily, he does get to decide when he'll score a card that forces him to discard others, so this can be a very tactical element of his playstyle. Many of his objectives have randomness built into them, and they therefore have the potential to whiff. An unlucky roll can sometimes cost him victory points that should have been guaranteed. And outside of Harley Quinn and her hyenas, Bud and Lou, his crew are not the most mobile around, with many having a maximum move of 8 inches, so expect to be moving through the sewers often. He doesn't have access to very tough models, and he must typically rely on a lot of easily dispatched weenies. For example, one of his most accessible bodyguards has only 5 willpower and 4 endurance, an uncomfortably low bulwark against Batman's fist. And though his cards are generally easy to score, his score ceiling is quite low. A prevalence of 2 victory point cards in his deck, and his reliance on henchmen means that he typically has less 3-point character objective cards to play with. Overall, the Joker is an extremely competitive crew and always worth taking. Although he has the lower score ceiling that we discussed, he finds it very easy to score most of his cards, and so he should often be reaching 30-40 victory points in a game if played well, unless he gets very unlucky. A well-played Joker can be very formidable and extremely competitive. So thank you for joining me this evening with Spotlight on Gotham. This is the first of the Joker videos, so next time we'll be reviewing the miniatures that are available to the Joker, examining which ones are worth taking and which ones aren't. Good night.